Do you ever find yourself feeling jealous? Do you wish you could stop? Jealousy isn't here to make you suffer. It's here to help you grow. It reveals your limiting beliefs. That's what this episode is about. You're listening to Pure Light, where we explore how to become the highest version of yourself so that you feel worthy of your craziest dreams and confident in your power to make them happen. My name is Aili. I'm a coach and a Kundalini yoga and meditation teacher. This is episode 57, and it's about what your jealousy is trying to teach you. So I've talked about jealousy on this podcast before in an episode called The Upside of Jealousy, episode 44. So if you feel like you're a bad person for being jealous and you judge yourself for being jealous, go back and listen to that episode. In it, I talk about how jealousy isn't a sign that you're a bad person. It's a sign that you're human. And you can either use it as a reason to beat yourself up, or you can use it as a pointer to your unfulfilled desires. In this episode, I want to talk about jealousy from another angle and expand on how you can use it for personal growth, and specifically related to the beliefs that it can reveal to you. So I remember when I turned 20, it felt like my life was over in a way. Like it felt like I had to be serious and responsible and figure out what I was going to do with my life. And part of that for me was also wanting to be in a long-term relationship and ultimately get married, not right at 20, but like a couple years later. And I started dating someone when I was 20, and he initially told me right at the start of our relationship that he was never going to marry me. And he said that was because of religious reasons, because we were different religions. But neither of us was really religious. So I guess I thought we would either figure it out or it wasn't going to be a problem in some way. But either way, I was like, this isn't worth worrying about. But then we kept dating, and 5 years in, so when I was 25, he was still adamant that he was never going to marry me. And I remember talking to my friend Kelly about it because I was like, what do I do? And she was like, well, you can either decide to stay with him and be okay with that, or you can leave. And that really didn't seem like a choice to me because I didn't have the strength to leave. I was totally terrified of being single. And I stayed in that relationship, even though it felt in a way like I was giving up on something that I wanted. And this was at a time in my life where a lot of people around me were starting to get married. So friends and family and coworkers. And I remember going to those weddings and feeling really embarrassed and feeling shame too, because I knew that I was never going to have one, because I knew I was with a man who didn't want to marry me and I didn't have the strength to leave. And what made it even worse was the fact that at these weddings, people would come up to me and say things like, oh, you're next. You guys have been together forever. And I really didn't know what to say to that because I didn't want to be like, no, I'm not, even though that was my automatic negative reaction. And I think I actually said that once, but it didn't go over well, so I stopped saying that. But like, it was really embarrassing to me to be dating someone for so long who didn't want to marry me because it made me feel like there was something wrong with me. So I'd usually just try to smile and say something like, we'll see. And while I was happy for the people who were getting married, I was also very jealous because I wanted that for myself. And I didn't think it was going to happen for me. Like I didn't see how it would be possible given the circumstances that I was in. So jealousy shows you what you believe isn't possible for you. Because if you believed it was possible, you would look at the people who have what you want with admiration and excitement and anticipation instead of sadness and resentment and anger and jealousy. Jealousy comes up to show you what your limiting beliefs are, because it reveals to you what you think is not possible for you. And this is a really useful thing because it gives you the opportunity to address your limiting beliefs. So if you ask yourself, like, who am I jealous of? What do they have that I want? And what do I believe about whether or not that's possible for me? And then how can I take responsibility for either making that thing happen or for changing that belief? Because ultimately, it's up to you to change what you believe. If you want some ideas on how to do that, go back and listen to episode 5. It's called I Can't Do That. I'm Not That Kind of Person. In that episode, I talked about how changing what you believe about yourself isn't about trying to convince yourself that you're something you're not. It's something that happens naturally by choosing to show up in the world in a different way. So jealousy is one way of uncovering your limiting beliefs. And when you look at it that way, you can be grateful for it because it's showing you opportunities to grow and let go of your old self-image that's based on beliefs that you adopted in the past. If you want more strategies and tools to deal with fear, self-doubt, and the voice inside your head, subscribe to Pure Light wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, may you be guided by your light.